Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee, and this is Randy, and we are at Frederick County Animal Control, bringing you some adoptable animals that are available to families who are ready to add a family member. And our first guest today is Josephina, and Josephina is a beautiful black cat. She is only 10 to 12 months old, and she's already been a mother. She was found by someone who got her from a horse farm, and they did not want her at the farm because they felt like she was bad luck. So a kind person took her in with her kittens, brought her to us, and Kayla at the front desk fostered her until her kittens could be adopted, and they have been. So Josephina is here awaiting her own home. And as you can see, she's a little nervous. We actually have people working on the roof right now, and so it's a little rumbly in here. You probably can't hear that on the camera mic, but Josephina can hear it, and she's a little bit concerned about who is over our heads stomping around. So it's a lot to ask. A barn kitty who just had kittens, and the kittens are gone now, and she is temporarily staying in the shelter to be on a TV show. But she is up to the task, and as you can see, she is quite lovely. And as you all know by now, black cats are my favorite because research shows they are the least likely to jump from the arms of a stranger, which Josephina says is just an example of how research does not apply to everyone. So she is very young, as I said. She's not even a year old, so she is still kittenish, and it's a little hard for her to get chosen with all of the kittens we have in the shelter, of which there are many. And we also still have Mama Cat, who's been here since April, a black and white cat who also had kittens in our foster program. We still have Coconut, a beautiful white blue-eyed cat who is still in the shelter. And so just because we only show you 5 does not at all mean that's the only selection. So I'm gonna let Josephina go back to her own apartment because this is a little hard for her, even though Randy's doing a great job.
She's purring.
He said she's purring, so she can handle it. She's just, you know, it's a lot to ask for a cat to have a stranger take them to a strange room and sit down with them without proper introduction. So we will be back in a second with another guest. You are a good kitty. We are back with Daisy, our next guest. And Daisy is a beautiful Duluth tortoiseshell is the name of her color. Many people prefer it in cats. Usually tortoiseshell cats are female, and Daisy is not an exception to that rule. She was born on January 19th of 2010, which makes her about 3. And she is the second cat we have in the shelter named Daisy. We have 2 cats named Eden, 3 cats named Smokey, 2 Daisies, and it's not uncommon for us to have more than 1 cat with the same name because when people relinquish their pets, we don't change their name. The only occasion we would do that is if their name is somehow frightening to them, or if their name is derogatory and we feel like that will hurt their chances of getting adopted. But usually that doesn't happen, and they can keep their name, which means we very often have animals in the shelter of the same name. Daisy is here because her owner had to go to a senior living apartment where she'll have some help. So she was sad to have to leave Daisy behind. But unfortunately, some of those facilities have a no pets rule. So if you are in the situation where you need a little extra help and you have to leave your pet behind, it is just, you know, more stress on an already stressful situation. So we are going to try to find Daisy a new home. She is young and has lots of years left to give. So she certainly is going to make someone a great pet. And we hope that if you know of someone who's looking for a cat, that you will share her picture and her story so that someone can come and meet her and see if she might be the right match for them. And she looks very lovely against Randy's blue shirt, but I don't think she approves, so she is trying to go somewhere else. And sometimes we do find that seems to happen in batches. You know, one day we'll have 5 cats on the show and they all purr and rest comfortably in Randy's lap. And then another episode, all the cats are trying to get down. So one of the things we talked about is if our fluorescent lights are making some high-pitched noise we can't hear or something like that. But we never know what's going on in the minds of the cats. But Randy does a great job at distracting and entertaining them so that you can get a glimpse of who they are and what they look like, in hopes that you will be interested to come by the shelter and see if we have your next family member here waiting for you.
You're fun to pet. You really feel good.
This time of year, a lot of our female cats arrive at the shelter with kittens, and Butterscotch is true to that story. She came with 3 kittens, and they went through our foster program as well and have been adopted. And now Butterscotch needs a home, and she has a half a tail. Her tail is short. We don't know if she was born that way or if she had an accident. She's doing fine regardless, but that is a feature of her that makes her unique and might give her a story to tell. Not that she's telling the details, but sometimes people are overwhelmed when they come to the shelter choosing a cat from the many that we have. And it helps if there's something unique about them or something interesting about them, just to encourage someone to sit with them and see if there's a good match. She is only 2 to 3 years old, and also came to us as a stray cat from Howard Stepp Road. But she's so friendly and easy to handle that we're sure that she was raised by a person. And a lot of cats in Frederick show up at people's doorsteps as kittens, and people feed them and care for them, hoping that they're going to find the owner or even find them a new home. And then sure enough, when they're only 6 to 10 months old, they have kittens. And then people realize that they are not up for caring for the whole family. So they'll contact us or an animal clinic near them and try to find out what they can do. And one of the things to think about if you are feeding a kitten is they really do reproduce at a young age. So get in touch with a vet or the shelter early so we can help you prevent a litter from being born with. There's lots of low-cost spay-neuter programs we can tell you about. But if you are not sure that you're going to keep the cat, we totally understand not investing in the spay-neuter surgery, but the decision needs to be made earlier than people often realize, because you know they can have kittens when they're only kittens themselves. So Butterscotch is available for adoption, and if you think you know someone who might be interested in her, or if you want to come meet her, then come on down and see if she's the right one for you. We are back with Sparkler. And Sparkler is not her real name. She was a stray found in Monrovia, and she is already spayed, so we know for sure that she was someone's cat. And unfortunately, this is a common story at Frederick County Animal Control, is a lovely cat that understands people, uses a litter box, likes cat food in a bowl, ends up at the shelter by showing up at someone's house and they're not able to find their original owner. And if the cats don't have a microchip and don't have a collar on, we have just no way of finding you. So this little kitty from Monrovia is now called Sparkler. We weren't able to find her family, and neither were the people who initially found her. So we are offering her for adoption to a new home. And as you might imagine, if you're a stray cat and you land in the shelter where there are 2 meals a day, your own bed, it can be a great relief to a cat to end up someplace safe and enclosed and with caring, experienced people. But if you're someone's pet and you land here, you really think that you're at the vet hospital for shots or spaying or neutering or whatnot. So it is a little harder on owned pets to end up here In many cases, they think that they are at a boarding kennel, if they've ever had that experience. And well, surely we don't know what they think, but we can tell by their behavior that cats that have been someone's pet are more likely to wonder what this is all about than a stray cat who quickly realizes whatever it's about, it has regular meals and nice people, so I'm in. So this little kitty, Sparkler, is probably missing her family somewhat, and we hope that we can find her a new one. In any case, if you know of someone missing their beautiful tortoiseshell cat from Monrovia, please let them know. She might be at the shelter, and perhaps they don't want her anymore. If you know that, just call and let us know where she came from. We don't force people to reclaim their pets, but we do like to contact them and find out, are they used to dogs? Are they used to kids? As much as we can know about them really helps us find them a new home. It's also important for people to know that if for any reason you cannot keep your pet, there is no fee for dropping your pet off at the shelter. Now, that doesn't mean I want to encourage you to do it. We get 5,700 animals a year and we can't save them all. But we don't want you to abandon your pet or not reclaim your pet, or at least let us know where she came from when the pet ends up in the shelter. So Sparkler is here because she has no family, and would be wonderful if a family came forward and just didn't realize she was here. But we are the only shelter in the county, and so if your pet is lost, or if you know someone whose pet is lost, please come here first and look. Give us a report and description, so if we find your pet, we can find you quickly. Our shelter fills up with lost pets waiting for their home, and that makes it harder on us to take in unwanted pets because we just don't have room for all of them. So if you think that Sparkler might make a good match for you or someone that you know, please come and meet her or share her picture on your social networking sites. Every little bit helps. We are back with Scotty, and Scotty is a love bug. He came to us, he's a year old. He came to us from Myersville. He is not neutered, so we're not sure that he had a committed family, but the people who took him in had kids and dogs and said he is great with all. He has a little bit longer hair than the other cats that you've met this morning, and Scotty is already 10 pounds, so he's probably going to be a big kitty, and is quite the love bug, as many adult male cats are, and I think he's going to make somebody a great pet. But again, like all of our cats, the adult cats are in the shelter, and the shelter is full, and we have about 25 kittens. So it's just a little harder for the adult cats to get chosen. So we are happy to show you a select few today so that you can decide if any of them make a good match for you. Obviously, if you're up for the challenge of a kitten, by all means take one. We get 1,000 kittens between April and October every year. And don't worry, we can tell you how to teach them not to do that. If you think that Scotty would make a nice match for you or someone that you know, please let us know or come meet him. He's a great cat. So if you would like to know more about Scotty, please let us know. We're going to be back after a short break with some more adoptable pets at Frederick County Animal Control. I hope you join us.
Before, addiction and depression kept me from living my life. And now, every step I take in recovery benefits everyone. There are many options that make the road to recovery more accessible. It begins with the first step. Join the Voices for Recovery. For information and treatment referral for you or someone you love, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Oh, man.
If you're concerned that there is a party taking place where there's underage drinking or drugs being used, or that you've heard that a party is going to take place, there's a tip line that you can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's 301-600-1318.
We are back with some more adoptable pets at Frederick County Animal Control, and our first canine guest is Sheldon. And Sheldon is not his real name. Sheldon came to us as a stray. He is a Lhasa Apso, which means that normally his fur is quite long and profuse. He looks like a little mop. But we did trim his hair when he came in, so you may not recognize him if he was a dog that you knew before. And while 70% of our lost dogs are reclaimed, that does leave 3 out of 10 that are not, that we need to look for new homes for. And just like the cats, if they don't have ID tags and they don't have microchips, it is just about impossible for us to find you. We take them on the radio, we put their pictures on the Pet Finder, we put their pictures in the newspaper. Sean makes flyers that our volunteers post around. We do everything we can to list our animals. The very moment that they come into the shelter, their photograph is taken, and as soon as Sean is next in the office, he posts them on the Frederick County webpage. And many people have said that some of our stray pictures aren't that clear and aren't that focused, but what we are trying to do with those pictures is capture maybe a frightened or nervous or confused dog the moment they come in, so that their owner can recognize them. And later we have our volunteer team come in and take beautiful portraits of them for Pet Finder for adopters to choose among. We have requested that the adopters of Sheldon have older kids only because he's shy. We don't want to put him in a situation where he makes the family unhappy. For example, when you want to adopt a dog and you have younger children, you want your younger children to be able to interact with the dog right away, to touch him often, and to not worry that the kids will scare him. And that could happen to Sheldon. He's more nervous and shy, and we don't know what his background is because he came as a stray. And often people say that they don't want to adopt a stray dog because of the unknown background. But there are purposefully bred dogs that are raised in every perfect way with the just right training and just right supervision that develop issues, training issues. And there are dogs who have been born by accident, lived in a backyard where they were never given any attention, never trained, and they come in here and make delightful pets from day one. So the history does not matter. It's what you do with the dog once he becomes yours and once he learns a new worldview based on what you teach him. So Sheldon certainly can gain some confidence from a gentle person. As you see, it's already happening. He's on Randy's lap, and now he's sitting up and looking forward at the camera and doing okay. So Sheldon is going to make somebody a great pet. Lhasa Apsos tend to be low energy and to like the people that they know best and not necessarily want to seek out a bunch of strangers or go to the dog park and that kind of thing. Now, obviously, that's not true of all Lhasas. I have said before, there's no trait that a breed has that makes it any different than any other breed, but individual dogs tend to be like their parents, and Lhasas were bred to just hang out at a palace and bark if someone comes, and that's pretty much what Sheldon's future job should be. If you think that he would make a nice match for you or someone that you know, let us know. This is Snoopy, and Snoopy is a terrier mix, probably wire-haired fox terrier, maybe a little Cairn terrier, it's hard to say. He is here because his owner had to go to a nursing home. He is quite energetic and friendly. He likes people and walks well on a leash, wags his tail a lot, as you can see. And he was born in October of 2003, and he is going to make someone a lovely companion. One of the hardest things that people have to do when they come to the shelter is give up a pet they don't want to give up, because their situation is, there's nothing they can do. So when people go to assisted living or nursing homes that don't allow you to bring your pet along, there are very limited choices. I mean, obviously, if you're lucky enough to have a family member who will take on your pet, then you have that option. If you have the resources to put the pet in a long-term situation, then you can do that. If you, in advance, contact a rescue and make an arrangement with them to rehome your pet, you can do that as well. But otherwise, you are faced with bringing your pet to the animal shelter and having us put the word out that he is a cutie and has lots of experience to offer and is in need of a second chance. So if you think that Snoopy would make a nice match for you or someone that you know, please let us know. He's a great little dog. Johnny is a great dog. He clearly is a beagle. He is about 7 years old. He could be 6, we don't know for sure, because he came to us as a stray. And one of the things about beagles is they just love everyone. So if they are not fenced in, they will just follow anyone. So they actually make very good secondhand dogs because they're very quick to bond to people and very accepting. But one of the issues you have to be prepared for is, you know, it's not the best apartment dog because they really like to be out and about, and the easiest way to care for a beagle is with a fenced yard they can't escape from so that they can enjoy the smells of outdoors and getting enough exercise. Beagles need a lot of exercise because they are what's known as easy keepers, somewhat like me. They don't need to eat very much in order to stay fit and healthy, and they love food. So as you may have seen, when Johnny first came in, is Randy gave him a pepperoni, which he excitedly and willingly took, even though it's from an almost complete stranger. So beagles also have a couch potato side, which is lovely because when they're inside with their owner, they like nothing more than curling up by the fire and enjoying a rest. But all that is predicated on the fact that they get to go out and about hunting, if you will, on occasion with their best friend, which would be you. So if you think that Johnny would make a good match for you or someone that you know, then come and meet him because beagles are great. Most people I know have a childhood story of a beagle in the family. And hi, I don't have the treat. So they really fit in almost anywhere except, as I said, they don't really fit into apartment living. So although people have done it, and I shouldn't classify any one group as the same, but they love to have room to run, and because humans are what we are, we may not be able to provide that without the fenced-in yard. We don't require that. If you can provide for Johnny, then we are happy to have you take him. If you know someone else who might be interested, then consider sharing his picture. We are back with Lily. And Lily is a pug mix, and she came to us as a stray, and we called her Flower. But then we were able to find her owner and find out that her name was Lily. Her owners don't want to get her back because they moved to a place that does not allow pets, so they aren't able to take care of her anymore. And Lily is about 5 years old, and she, you just noticed the camera. And she is a good watchdog, as you can tell. I shouldn't even say a good watchdog because that wasn't necessarily well thought out. She passed right by the camera on her way in, but was shocked to see it in front of her a minute later. She is only part pug, you can tell by her curly bushy tail. She might even be part pug pom. There is a breeder of pug poms in Frederick, and we see quite a few of them here in the shelter because of that. And she is a female dog, as I said, and about 5 years old. So she has lots of time left to give. And as you can see, she's a real cutie, and she's going to make someone a lovely pet. If you know someone who might be interested in adopting her, please let us know. I think she wants some coffee. We are back with Buddy. And we know quite a bit about Buddy. So Buddy was adopted from the shelter as a puppy, and he was called Peanut. And he was in a family with a baby and has experience with little kids. He lived with another dog, and he did very well. That family moved away and brought him back to us, as their contract asks them to do if for any reason they can't keep him. And that's always unfortunate for us when that happens, because they assured us that he was house trained, good with the other dogs, good with the kids. They just couldn't take him to down south with them when they went. And for all of us who have pets and cannot imagine leaving them behind if we moved, because we think of them as part of the family, it's hard to imagine that someone would give away a perfectly good dog, but it happens all the time here. We see it every day. Then he was adopted by a woman who bought him some things that get to go with him, and she found out she was allergic to him. So in the past, she had gotten allergy treatment for dogs and it worked. She had a dog for many years that she was not allergic to, so she didn't think it was going to be a problem. And when she took Buddy home and found out that she was allergic to him, she was very disappointed, and she calls me often to make sure he's doing okay, which he is. And Randy and I took him to a watermelon slicing event where he played with bunches of other dogs and was very interested in kids, very good with them when they came over. He is not the type of dog to jump on and run after children he doesn't know, not at all. But he was very interested in being with other dogs and in interacting with kids who came up to him and wanted to play with him. He also loves toys. And we spent a lot of time on Saturday playing this game. Sometimes people say it isn't good to play tug of war with a dog. And I have a master's degree in behavior, and I have been to the Karen Pryor Training Academy for dog training, and I heartily disagree, because if you do not teach your dog how to use his mouth, then you run the risk of him making a mistake. And tug of war is a great way to teach a dog. You can put your mouth on the toy, you can get very excited, but when I say we're done, we're done. And if you touch my skin, then we're not going to play. So Buddy is learning that the game is the way to his heart. That if he wants to play tug of war, then he has to do some things we ask him to do. Maybe to sit down or to get on his bed. And it's been a really great tool for him to exercise and enjoy people, but also to learn what to do to get the game that he loves so much. And oftentimes people will say that tug of war teaches a dog to use his mouth against you, and that depends on how you introduce it, because it actually teaches the dog how not to use his mouth so that he can still have the game that he loves. So Buddy really likes it, and I think it really can be used to motivate and reward him to do exactly the right thing. So if you are interested in knowing more about Buddy, then please come by and meet him, or you can check out this week's Pet of the Week and watch more video of Buddy, or you can look on Facebook and see his pictures. Thank you for joining us this week. Perhaps you have seen an animal that tugs at your heartstrings and makes you want to come in and find out more. If you are not able to adopt at this time, we totally understand that. But we can take used sheets and towels, used pet supplies. If you have time to donate, we have a great volunteer program. So please consider getting in touch with us. If you want to know more about any of the animals you've seen today, check out the link on the screen below and share it around to help us get the word out about adoptable animals in Frederick County. And thanks for joining us. I hope we see you next time on Pet Pals.